What is the best lineup moving forward for the Utah Jazz?
So the Jazz are currently now sitting at 9% chance of making the playoffs, which is down from 39% on January 14th, according to ESPN. So with this Jazz current roster structure, what is the best lineup the Utah Jazz could put out on the floor right now going forward?
They've got some lineups. They don't have a ton of possessions together yet, but I've got a few lineups that have some good data behind them.
Okay.
That are actually kind of promising. And as long as the Jazz can show up and get these groups of people on the floor at points, I think we got a chance. So first lineup. So Keontae George, Colin Sexton, Jordan Clarkson, Lauri Markkanen, and John Collins. Those 5 players have played 70 possessions together.
Mm-hmm.
They are a plus 5.2 in those 70 possessions. I mean, this is a high-powered offensive, 5 group of guys, right? They score 1.32 points per possession, and then they only turn over the ball on 8.6% of possessions. So they offensive rebound the ball really well, they score the ball really well, and they get to the free throw line. So these guys have done these 5 guys went on the floor together, and it's very limited minutes. It's only 70 possessions, right? Because when you go into any of the analytics and you take out rotations with KO or Simone or Ochai, it leaves you with very few possessions to actually pull from.
Right.
But those guys are a plus 5.2 in the 70 possessions they played together, which is promising, right? Mm-hmm. So now a much smaller size, you take Keontae off the floor and you replace him with Chris Dunn, they actually get even more productive. They go to a plus 12.9. So they score the ball even more with Chris Dunn distributing the ball. Mm-hmm. They score 1.37 points per possession, and they're a much better defensive unit because they only allow 1.24 points per possession, which is fantastic, right? So these guys, there's a chance, you know what I mean? Because you take Keontae off the floor and you got Chris Dunn out there, and really Chris Dunn's the starter.
Right.
You're going to see Chris before you're going to see Keontae. So that plus 12.9 looks a little bit more like our starting lineup, right? The best lineup that the Jazz currently have with Lauri and Keontae off the floor is THT, Chris Dunn, Jordan Clarkson, Taylor Hendricks, and Walker Kessler. They've only played 31 possessions together, but in those 31 possessions, they are a plus 25.9, and they only allow 1.03 points per possession, which is crazy great defense. Okay. They can still score it, right? They got Chris Dunn.
Facilitator.
But the problem is you then have the THT problem.
Yes. Yes. And I think I made my point on THT kind of clear on this. I think he's a great player. I think he's the Coors Light banquet beer version of JC. He's going to be a player that's going to stuff the stat line on a losing team.
Yeah.
Nothing against him. I think he's a great player, but his just efficiency when he's in the lineup just isn't there. I'm actually kind of impressed with that lineup, though. I don't hate that.
Right.
I don't hate it.
And a plus 25.9 in 31 possessions is fantastic.
You got everybody except for Kessler that can shoot.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You got Taylor Hendricks as the corner 3 and D guy. You've got THT, who's very streaky. And you also have Dunn, who can, pull up a wide open 3 when he has one. When you got 4 shooters on the floor, you're spacing, he's going to be open.
Yep.
I actually don't hate that lineup, but not having our guy Lauri Markkanen on the floor kind of is a.
So, and that's some of the problem is that's the only lineup that's positive in the plus minus when Lauri and Keontae aren't on the floor.
Yeah, that's
every other time. If there's anyone other than those 5 guys on the floor, they're a negative plus minus.
Wow. Yeah, that's the problem. That's a problem for sure. So, okay, well, based off of that lineup there, first of all, folks, let us know in the comments down below what you think. What's your favorite lineup with the Utah Jazz have so far, given the fact that they've traded away all the contributors again this year?
Yep.
Kind of a repeat of last year. Should be good to that. So hopefully they shake off a lot of the rust. Players got rest, and we have them jump out of it. They do have a very soft schedule. The first 10 games, I think they could easily go 7-3 or 8-2.
They're going to need it if they want to get back into the play-in.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, they've got to make a run here. They've got to make a push to actually win some ball games. But like I said, I mean, just with that data right there, they have lineups that are positive. They got lineups that can go out there and score the basketball. They got lineups that can go out there and defend. They've got to show up, and they're just going to need maximum effort. Right. Like, I mean, like I said in the last episode, the Jazz's biggest issue right now is just finding a group of players that wants to be out there together.
Right.
Because it doesn't feel like that lately.
No, it doesn't. And I can't blame them. This is the second year in a row this has happened to them. When they feel they got good momentum, they're getting chemistry together, and then boom, half the players contributor gone. So
yeah.
So with that said, obviously Will Hardy is definitely the player's type of coach that isn't going to be wanting to take an L just to improve where the draft pick is, right?
Yeah.
So they're going to play to win, and he's going to be pushed to get in the playoffs. That's going to be his mindset going forward.
These guys are going to go out there and give everything they have because they want to make a plan, and they need to. I mean, that's valuable experience for this team. You can't wait another year for them to get.
I'm with Coach Hardy on this one. I want to push for a play-in tournament, a play-in type thing, because I think that's going to benefit this team more than another stash of assets and draft picks. Basically,
the Jazz don't need talent. The Jazz need experience. They've got a ton of talent. I mean, from the guys they just drafted last year with Keontae George and Taylor Hendricks, even Bryce Sensabaugh, who we haven't seen much of, getting a little more playing time, obviously now with some of the moves. But the Jazz don't need more talent. I mean, you can use veteran leadership at this point on this team, but you don't have that. You traded that away when you got rid of Kelly Olynyk.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the Jazz need to get playoff experience, go get some wins, go get some games that actually mean something, and let these guys play, and then see what happens.
Absolutely.
In my opinion.
Absolutely. I agree with you on that one. Let us know in the comments down below, folks. Let us know what you think. Do you think the Jazz need to push for a playoff spot, or do you think they need to hold back and try and get that top 10 protected pick back? Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. If you're watching this live on our live stream, you're listening to it as a podcast, everything we talked about is going to be available in a YouTube video, a YouTube short video, which will actually you'll be able to find right here. We'll have that playlist for you right here. Also, we have a subscribe button right here in the middle, so make sure you go ahead and click on that, and make sure you subscribe to the channel.
Yep, and if you're watching on YouTube, it is available wherever you get your podcasts, audio only. There should be a link. Boom, right there.
Nice. Like it.
That's what I'm talking about.